First things first, Little Miss Sade is joining us today, so if you are watching this on YouTube, you might be able to see a tiny cute little kitten jumping in and out of the frame. She just got spayed. She wants to be as close as humanly possible to me today, so she will be sitting on my lap while I film. And if you're listening to this on Spotify and you want to see an adorable kitten, go to my YouTube channel and see how cute she is. Today's topic is choose, don't chase. I will be addressing this predominantly in the context of relationships. However, this applies to any and every area of your life. And my girl, if you are listening to this and you are trying to get his attention, or you want him to chase you, or you feel like you've extended all of your energy trying to chase him, this one will be especially important for you to listen to. And my guys, this will be particularly useful if you are somebody who has struggled with being self-respecting in your relationships, or you feel like you're ending up with people who don't respect you. Here's the thing about chasing. Chasing implies desperate energy. I have studied attachment theory for years now. I have done programs, I have worked with people, and one of the most consistent things that I have seen is that women want a man who chases them because they think that that's a testament of his value for her. And this is a mentality that even I got caught up in because it is so freaking inundating in all of the dating advice out there. Well, not all of it, but a decent amount of it is either saying that you should be complete equals and is not distinguishing between the beauty of the difference between a man and a woman. Or it may be implying that one of them should be carrying the entire load of the relationship while the other one sits back, relaxes, and does their own thing. And I don't believe that either one of those is inherently a healthy model. I think that there are aspects of both of them that have validity. A lot of my work is about figuring out how to find the nice, happy in-between where both parties are honored for their differences and where both parties are bringing something to the table. And in my personal opinion, if you want to have healthy polarity in your relationship, which is very important, especially for romantic relationships, then what you both bring to the table doesn't necessarily need to be the exact same thing. And honestly, probably shouldn't be the exact same thing. Otherwise, you're just dating another version of yourself. That's not going to help you to expand and to grow. The beauty of a healthy partnership is that you see enough of yourself in them that helps you fall deeper in love with yourself and deeper in love with them, whilst also having enough differences to where you're able to appreciate something that is not necessarily the same as you. So when it comes to this energy of chasing, I will be the first to say that as a woman, my preference is to be pursued. This may not apply to all women, but I will just say that I personally am not interested in chasing a boy around, trying to get his attention, trying to get him to like me. However, I do believe that oftentimes a woman plays the role of dropping the handkerchief. And a woman dropping a handkerchief is her version of saying, I choose you, I'm interested in you, please come and approach me. Let's have a conversation. That's making a choice. That is not chasing. That is not desperate energy. And there's nothing wrong with either party making a choice. In a healthy relationship, both of them should make a choice. On the flip side, a man who is pursuing a woman needs to understand what the difference is between chasing her and acting like a simp and pursuing her from a place of self-respect. And so for the sake of being consistent with my language, I will say that in this scenario, I also do not encourage men to chase women, because if you are quote-unquote chasing her, that implies that you are running towards her whilst also running away from yourself. And generally speaking, healthy, strong, regulated women do not want a self-abandoning man. They are interested in men who are willing to make sacrifices, willing to have discipline, willing to do what it takes to provide for the family, willing to let go of his ego. And if someone wants to be in their feminine energy, the only way the relationship is going to work is if the other party is in their masculine energy. Feminine energy receives, masculine energy pursues. But again, notice how I'm saying the word pursue, not chase. Pursuit says, I have a goal, I have an objective, I'm going to do what it takes to get there. Whereas chasing to me feels a lot like I'm going to abandon anything that possibly matters to me just so I can attain that one thing. And because a lot of my work is focused around balance, I highly encourage somebody to find the balance in that. So men, if you're interested in a woman, you need to first establish a level of self-respect if you haven't already, and to know what your personal limits are when it comes to this pursuit. Because if you're going to pursue a woman at the expense of your own health, your own psychological wellness, and your own relationship to yourself, you may be pushing it too far. That being said, I am a firm believer that healthy relationships encourage us to grow. So there should be some discomfort, there should be some growth, there should be some level of sacrifice. But if the sacrifice is requiring you to abandon your relationship with yourself wholly, then I would say that that is the epitome of chasing. And in the long run, that actually puts off desperate energy. And the interesting thing about chasing and desperate energy is that it does work for some people, but the types of people that it works for are generally people who are either trying to boost their own ego, they do not feel comfortable or confident within themselves, or they will expect you to always carry the weight of everything and they won't have to do absolutely anything at all. And again, I do believe it's important that both parties are willing to put in some level of work, both parties are willing to contribute something, but what each person is going to contribute and bring to the table does not necessarily have to be the same thing. Maybe the man wants to be the sole financial provider, but the woman wants to be the homemaker. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe he wants to handle the structure of their date nights, make sure that they have something planned so that their relationship has consistency, and she wants to be responsible for planning things that are a little bit more spontaneous and get them out of their comfort zone. And I'm not here to say that any of those is inherently right or wrong. It's just a matter of what category do you want to fall into, what kind of work do you want to put in, what feels natural to you, and what complements your natural state. Most women, not all, but most women are naturally going to flourish when they are able to access and live in their feminine energy. Most men are going to flourish when they are able to access and predominantly live in their masculine energy. But both men and women have both masculine and feminine energy. And if you want to be healthy in a relationship, it's important that you understand where your strengths lie and potentially where your deficits are. And you learn how to work together as a team so that your strengths can complement each other. This allows you to achieve more than you could when you were on your own. But when the dynamic is full of chasing, desperate, anxious energy from either or both sides, it ends up creating a level of chaos where there should be peace. If you are someone who is looking to build a sustainable, long-lasting relationship and you are doing it from a place of urgency, that is going to create an incongruence between the way that you are showing up and what your intention is. And that incongruence over time is going to eat at you or eat at your relationship. So how do you stop chasing other people? First things first, learning how to value yourself, learning how to have a strong relationship to yourself, understanding what your boundaries are and what you are not willing to sacrifice for anybody else. Boundaries matter, but boundaries are not walls. So it's also important to understand what are the things that you're willing to be flexible on. What are the areas that you're willing to let somebody in and allow them to have a level of sway in your life. If you are morally incompatible with this person, I would argue you probably shouldn't be letting them into your inner circle. Because again, it's going to create a disconnect within you or an incongruence within you that's going to affect negatively your relationship to yourself. That being said, if you morally agree with something, but you want to stack the dishes this way and they want to stack it that way, that may be frustrating for you. Your ego might get a little bit over that. But I highly doubt you're going to go to bed feeling like a terrible person because the dishes were stacked differently. And that's the difference between having compromise and flexibility and being in a relationship where you are required to lose respect for yourself in order to stay in it. Do not chase your partner. Choose them, and choose them every single day. This goes for both men and women. The way that you show that you are choosing your partner, the way that you show up for them, again, doesn't have to look the same, doesn't even have to look the way that I would do it. But if that intentionality is not being translated into action, or if that action is just run by urgency and run by I need, I want, without consideration of your values and your relationship to yourself, then you are ultimately setting yourself up for a very chaotic and potentially painful relationship. And I will tell you, I have learned this the hard way. So it is not impossible to go through that cycle and then learn. So it is not impossible to go through that cycle and learn how to do it better, learn how to show up better, learn how to respect yourself better, learn how to properly choose somebody that you want to be with. This is just an encouragement for you that if you feel like you are engaging with chasing energy, whether you are the one chasing or the one that's being chased, this might be a really good time to examine your patterns and why you are attracted to this dynamic in the first place. Because ultimately, that chasing is going to be creating an illusion for one or both of you. And illusions over time break, they leave us feeling incongruent, and they leave us with things like chaos. My guys, my gals, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing your most valuable resource, your time, with me today. Let me know in the comments on this podcast whether or not this video resonated with you. For those of you watching on YouTube, sorry you didn't get to see much of the little one because she ended up passing out, and yes, she is currently passed out on my lap. Look at her. Look at how freaking cute she is. Anyways, love and appreciate you guys. I will see you on the next one. Have a great week.